Very Different Levels Network podcast. I'm your host, Justin Horo, joined as always by the Triple OG Willie Mason of Origin Blues legend fame. So, a really big episode today. Firstly, I want to thank the Ivy Blue for hosting us yesterday for lunch until 2 p.m. A great turnout there. All the punters were getting amongst it nice and early. The Paddo Tavern, we had a little gig there later on from 4 p.m. And then also Elliot Lovejoy from Triple M and the studio here in the beautiful Townsville. We're up here for the girls game. We just watched the men's last night. Really appreciate you guys giving us this studio so we can stay super consistent, mates, because that's what we're trying to pride ourselves on, especially with what we're doing here at Levels Network, and we wouldn't be able to do it without the guys from Triple M in Townsville. So
thank you.
Thank you, Elliot Lovejoy, a.k.a. The Rev.
The Rev. Thank you, Rev.
Reverend Lovejoy. Mate, so it's going to be super quick today. We're going to preview the games just briefly because there's still a lot of changes to come with Origin and whatnot. We watched the game from the stadium last night at Suncorp.
Yeah.
It's going to be our initial thoughts watching it from the stadium. We'll probably break it down a little bit more on Monday, or we definitely will. We'll have more time to simmer. But you were walking the streets of Caxton last night. You were legends of the game from Queensland. Initial reactions, how is the emotions right now? I spoke to you a little bit in the cab. You just want to let the punters know how you before we get going, mate, just with that consistency, 9.7. So next week will be the 10K.
Yeah, right.
Mace, how you feeling, mate?
I don't know, a little bit disappointed. After the game, I was watching it with Gordon Tallis, Gary Belcher, like LT, Justin Hodges, all these blokes were around in the Legends bar there, and I was just like,
did you have any other Blues there with you?
No, not really. Mick Crocker, I was getting ganged up on. Yeah, there wasn't.
Think of it. 5 Queenslanders and you.
Yeah. So I didn't really have a leg to stand on. It was more disappointing. Like even from I don't know, just an ex-Blues player. Like you going, why the fuck wasn't like? I said one word, like when I had a few talks before. It was like desperation, right? I thought we'd be more desperate. Those little plays, you know what I mean? The game 2 plays where, you see those ridiculous Origin moments.
Yep.
You talk about Origin moments. They usually come in game 2 when you're in desperate need of it. And we had no one. It was ridiculous. I was just like, what the fuck is happening? You know what I mean? I was stunned to see just the lack of like intensity in the whole Origin, not just the Blues play. I think Queensland were the better team. It was a lackluster sort of game. It wasn't like a game 2 was supposed to be. Like it's supposed to be fucking blokes just getting smashed for 80 minutes. I was like, it died down a fair bit.
Did it feel like it was never in doubt from the start?
That's how I felt like just me watching it. I think if I watch it on the game,
we need to watch it back.
I'm gonna watch it back. I usually watch it back. It takes me about 3 hours to watch every little thing about the game. But me just being there, I'm just like, fuck,
these are initial raw reactions.
These are my raw reactions from the game. Like fuck, and even this is all coming from some of those greats as well. They're like, this don't feel like an Origin. Like game 2 Origin, what I'm saying. The desperation, the fucking hits.
Even the Queenslander old boys were saying that.
Even the Queenslanders just like, fuck, man. It's like, this is like, you're talking about Croc was sitting there going, why the fuck aren't like New South Wales ripping in harder? You know what I mean? Like Croc's about that shit, man. Like he used to be a thug. Gordon Tallis.
Like
Petro.
why aren't they losing their shit?
Why aren't they going mental?
Yeah.
Like why isn't someone just going out fucking like and putting everything, red line and everything like for the whole 80 minutes? It's like, Queensland were never going to fucking roll over. We had to go up there with the fucking game plan to go fucking bang. At him, through him,
punch him in the face.
Relentless, fucking cop their first wave and just go back and go back and go back. And I was just like, wow, we didn't look like we were going to try and win.
Well, I've got a timeline for you for both teams, and we'll go through a few situations that I've written down that we thought were, obviously really crucial, and then some after, and then what might happen with New South Wales moving forward. So kicking it off, obviously the biggest one straight off the bat, Turbo first couple of minutes, looks to be a peck. You guys, by the time you're listening to this, probably know more information about it than us. Again, reminding everyone, we watched it Wednesday night. We got on a flight 4:30 this morning. Yeah. Haven't been able to research it as much. It looks like Turbo's done his peck, though. What were your initial thoughts when you seen that happen straight away?
Oh, just disappointing for Turbo. Me initially just going, fuck, he's going to have to go through surgery. He's going to have to go through the trauma again. It's not his hamstring. I worry about the mental health of him because it's like the amount of shit that he's gone through in the last 2 years. And now this in the biggest stage where everyone's a lot of pressure on Turbo, man. It would have been on Latrell and Turbo to get us a series, and it would have been. And he loves that kind of stuff, and he really probably wanted to shine in that element up there, like game 3, I mean, game 2, take it to a decider, put the whole fucking, put the state on my back sort of mentality. And his first play of the game is that. I was like, damn, I just feel sorry for him.
Do you believe in like intrinsically the weight of expectations sort of can factor into injuries? Because I've heard someone speak about this recently where it's like, do you think he feels so much pressure now with all the injury history? And it sounds a bit loopy, but when you go into games with like or training sessions with head noise, and you might be a little bit preventative, or you're trying to do extra, like you're not just training like a normal NRL player. No. And mate, the poor fella just can't stay healthy. And I said it when I watched him before.
So you were saying like because of the fact that you don't like these guys, they need to. The only way that I sort of know how to get through games, to get through the like NRL sort of the rigors of NRL career, is because we fucking trained at an elite level, right? When you're sitting at 110, 120%, like every single session, you're redlining it. So the game. The game wasn't much of a change, right, to us when we were playing, when those great forward packs back in the Bulldogs days, like because we used to go at each other, fucking nearly harder than the game.
Yeah, the post sessions would be harder than
the post sessions were harder. Yeah, and so when you train at that level, and because the kids don't get the opportunity to train at that level, and I think they're going to get lesser of an opportunity because of the HIAs, and they're going to probably follow the blueprint of the NFL, how they limit those contact sessions. I think the NRL is going to come through with one of those in a couple of years as well. They've been speaking about it, so. I think he'd be wrapped in bubble wrap all week, right? And then you expect him to play Origin, and you expect him to play club football when you're not redlining it and just going balls out at training, and then you can't. It just doesn't replicate into the game. Yeah, you know, like
and
you
not completely blaming Manly, right?
Not
it's
completely,
it's just the nature of where Tommy's at right now.
But they'll be like, we just want Tom Trbojevic to play.
Yeah,
like we just need him on the field. Like, do they? I'm not saying I'm not throwing any darts at Manly's like high performance or anything like that, but like fuck, he needs.
Because I can understand why Manly would do that with his injury history.
You'd have to.
It's just the point at where Turbo's at now, and mate, it sucks because, you know, when he's fully fit,
he's the best.
I think a lot of people, Queenslanders included, would say if he's fully fit with that year that he had in 2021. I know that's a couple of years removed now, but he's the best player in the competition. You'd probably pick him if the injury history was everyone was healthy across the board. It'd probably be Turbo first pick for a lot of people.
Yeah, man, easy. I just feel sorry. I just worry about him. You know, he's got to go through like surgery. It's probably ruptured, and yeah.
What about your injuries, mate? Like over the years, did you have anything back to back or anything that lingered for long periods of time?
No, like I had some major injuries. I did ACL in 2008 at the back end, and I did at Liz Frank in 2004. 2 major injuries, right? But the rehab and everything was like I was on point. I never got rushed back, but I was always like on top of rehab, like because your best ability is your availability, right? And we were on point with rehab and all that time, all that sort of all the little 1%ers that you need to do. I was always on top of that, all that kind of stuff with.
You still are now
with injuries, yeah. So it's like as I said, like because I played a shitload of years and a shitload of games, like you don't fluke that. You know what I mean? Like so you just got to stay on top of little things and the amount of stuff that you can do now. Like, I'd always try and tell these younger kids, like, just fucking look after your body. Should be ice bars, like hot and colds, like everything, like the Normatex, the fucking game readies. None of that shit was around in the mid 2000s. None of them.
When I see you getting around with all that kit now, you remember how like you can take shit like that for granted when you're not, like in the system. When you're out of the system, you look at it and go, "Fuck, I'd love to have all that stuff now." Especially as you get older. So the kids got to make sure that we say I hate saying kids, but these young players just got to understand you got everything there ready to go for you. Like when you finish footy, like you don't have that access anymore.
You don't have that full Medicare and all that sort of stuff and get first into operations and all that sort of shit. That's something the NRL and the Players Association need to work on. We've already touched on that kind of stuff. But yeah, the amount of work that these kids get, the rehab, the injuries, all that kind of stuff, it's top notch. The high performance, the sports science, the coaching, everything like that is there for these guys. You know, so injuries suck. It is part of the game, but I do worry about Turbo's state of mind at the moment.
Yep, so do I, mate. Also, I just want to thank all the punters that come up to us yesterday too. Obviously, way more for Mace, but you know, again, I always sort of feel like I'm saying this the last couple of weeks, but super proud where we're at Levels Network and where we're growing to, and people.
I think I'm more famous now than for the podcast.
Well, I definitely am. I don't know about you. Your career was alright, but I definitely am.
No, but it was funny, man. Like, where's Hotto? I'm like, fuck, he's just there, man. Like, we're not far away from each other. If you see one of us aren't far behind.
Yeah. All right. So the big news to come out, or the big selection, and again, going back to, Freddie's coaching is always going to be criticised regardless, if they didn't win the game.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest ones, Turbo goes down, he puts Cookie into centres. Would he have been your choice, mate? And how did you see Cookie's performance in the centres?
I think Cook was that bad. They didn't score any tries down the left side. Maybe towards the back end of the game.
The eye off the kick at the end. By the way,
I'm not blaming him for that as well.
No, you can blame me. You can blame me for calling it. But instead of Nanai, because Nanai, he ended up starting on the bench. That cost me first try, because if he had started, it would have been at the start, not last. But
my choice would have been Cam Murray, because I think he done a job there, like for South Sydney. He's done a job for South Sydney.
Yeah,
he's done
about
a job,
3 years ago.
And I think he's a better defender than Cookie. And he's quicker, but like you said, he was under an injury cloud, and he probably didn't want to put him on that island out there.
I think that factored in for sure.
Then I think about, why the fuck pick him then?
Yeah.
If he can't fucking play anywhere.
Well, two things, right? So I agree. Cookie would have been my choice, regardless of the result.
Cook would have been your choice?
Because, I have to assume on Freddie's behalf, and I'm not even close to Freddie. I couldn't care less if he's the coach or not.
Yeah.
But Cam Murray being on the bench for 45 minutes...
Oh, God.
Has to have told me that he was either ginger and not 100% going into the game, which I can understand, mate. Well, they give guys that have proven themselves and warriors, like, they give them the opportunities. But mate, if you
not in game 2, man, come back for game 3, pick a fit like. I'm not sure who could have taken his spot, like another big body, or like who was available there for his spot, like a Cam Murray.
Kaloa Matangi, Olakuatu.
Kaloa Matangi would have been good, coming off the bench.
Those were guys that were in the mix. Who else got dropped? Tavita got dropped. I know, Cam's got the runs on the board, and for whatever he come on, mate, he looked to have a real impact when he come on. I thought he showed real direction, really squared everyone up, was running hard. So it didn't look like he was injured, but there must have been some concerns before the game. Otherwise, for me,
you're playing him 15 minutes before the half time, right?
100%. So I would have moved Cookie, because you have Cookie for the speed early on. So when there's no fatigue, you worry about getting dusted a little bit more. Everyone's fresh. I like the idea of Cookie starting.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
But then I would have brought Cam Murray on maybe at the 25, 30-minute mark and moved Cookie into hooker and gave Ruth.
I think the Turbo thing fucked up all the...
yeah, it's a big one. It's massive.
You'd never expect him to go off that early and not be able to come back on. It just threw a spanner in the works, didn't it? Because we didn't really fucking game plan for that.
Yeah.
Did we? And I was thinking...
Maybe
I was thinking about putting a Matty Burton on the bench, man.
Yeah, well, in a way,
everything.
Should you be thinking about that with Turbo's injury history?
Well, I thought they were going to pick Crichton on the bench and just leave him there, and put Campbell Graham in the centres. I thought they were going to go with something like that, or leave the centres there and just put and Burton on the bench just to have him there.
Yeah, and I know he was injured, and you mentioned him there, Campbell Graham, but mate, so that was my biggest thing before game 1, because I thought,
was he injured again?
Campbell Graham was injured before game 1, right? He was supposed to be 18th man.
But he's available for game 2, wasn't he?
But he played the last couple of weeks for South. So my big thing was whether it was Campbell Graham. Stephen Crichton ended up playing for Latrell in the first game and the second game. And then there's Katoni Staggs. It's like you're saying before, like at Turbo at his absolute peak, he'd probably be my first choice, but there were too many risks, and it come back to bite him, mate. Like he got injured in a different way, which is hard to predict. But it essentially, like I said, you don't have the reps and getting out there and training as much and getting some rhythm. I thought straight away from game 1, it would have served Tommy better to be at club level, build that confidence, rack up a few really big performances. Canberra was outstanding, right?
Yeah.
Next week, he could have played Newcastle and carved them up potentially, because Manly were in that game for a little bit. Then they come and carve up the Dolphins. Yeah. He might have been a little bit more cherry ripe by the time he got to fucking game 2. I don't know.
The thing is, these players, they got a lot of pride, Hoz, and Origin is the pinnacle. And it's hard to get Origins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't know when your last one's your last one. So you want to get them all at the same. You want to get them all when you can. You rarely see anyone sort of going, I don't really want to plug in the rest.
I'm not saying Turbo should have said that. I'm saying Freddie should have taken it out of his hands.
I know. That's what I'm just giving you the players' perspectives. Like, you're not going to go, I just want to sort of look after my body, and you're never going to say that. Even though you might subconsciously be thinking it, those thoughts might be going through Turbo's head. It's probably going through Latrell's head. It's like, I got to look after my calf. You know what I mean? Like, I got to finish the year with South. Like, he probably thought the other way. He's like, well, if I play Origin, I've got to get through that whole week. You got to get through this. At a high level, fatigued, could do a grade 2. That could be like 6 to 8 weeks with a calf injury.
Yep.
You're looking at long term. like short term for long term. You know what I mean? Like he's like, well, the Origin kills some teams, man.
Yep.
It kills players because it's so demanding.
He could not only fuck up
off the field, on the field. It's fucking everywhere, man. It's intense. Look at this shit. Sorry, we're going to touch on Luai, but look at this shit that they cop on and off the field. It ain't just playing now. The mental trauma and the fucking all this social media shit. It gets the kids, man. It gets to these younger kids.
Yeah, for
it
sure.
does.
And then, not only for Latrell, right, with his decision, he could have potentially, what happened to Turbo? He leaves the game early, stuffs up the rotation for New South Wales, and then again puts him out 6 to 8 weeks.
Latrell probably
and he
put
gets
the
back
state,
a month before the finals with a team that can win the comp.
But Latrell probably puts New South Wales before himself, right? You know what I mean?
100%.
I think he's done that, Latrell.
Yeah.
I think he's just gone, well, I know my calf's pretty much going to go if I fucking go 100%, which I need to go 100% against Val Holmes.
Yeah.
Because he's going to come at me. He's got Queensland are dominant. Reece Walsh, all these blokes, they're fast. They're nippy around the fucking ruck. They've got everything. He's just like, fuck, I'm not going to be able to do it. That's what maybe Tom was probably thinking, but you just, when you're at that level and you played at the top and you think, and you know you're the fucking king, you don't care. You think you're fucking bulletproof. You don't give a shit. And that's the mentality of these players, and I love that mentality. It's like, fuck it. Put the state on my back. That's what Tommy's saying. Tommy don't have to say it. We just know that he's about that.
Yeah.
He's about that life. And it just didn't work out, man. I just feel sorry for him.
Well, talking about that life, Jerome Luai.
He about that life.
He about that life, bro. He gets straight on Instagram. He gets into... I've got the quote here. Chill, all you idiots have work tomorrow morning. On an Instagram post of him sitting on the pose. Proper photo. Proper Luai vibes. It is a great. It is a good photo. Who took it? It is. Who did take it? They would have had family in that on the pitch. Thoughts on that? Thoughts on Romy? Thoughts on his sort of mindset dealing with social media?
Yeah, well, that's how you deal with shit. Like that's how he deals with it. Some people get off social media. Some people if you're going to troll him, if you're going to say all this shit, like if that's the worst thing that he said,
yeah,
bro, like what compared to what he's actually thinking, and if he posts that. That's the way he vents, man. Like, why are we picking on this? Why are we picking on this young brother for? Like, he's just speaking his mind, right?
Yeah,
chill.
He's just trying to have a reply.
He's a chilled out dude, man. He's a vibey kid. He's he just wants to live his life, and football's just he plays that. He's great at it. We're all like that as young kids. At one time, would play this game for free. He was playing out in Mount Druitt like 10 or 12 years ago out there, just playing, wishing that he could play this. And he lives in the moment, right? He's sitting there, he's on the post going, "Fuck, yeah, we got beat." It sucks.
Would have read a few comments.
But fucking life goes on. Someone would have fucking absolutely trolled him and he would have been getting it. And he was like, fuck it. Here you go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't mind that. It's just because that's what I'm saying. If that's the worst thing this young kid is saying right now and these, like no one claps back or anything like that, bro, this is very sanitized.
We're about to do
the trade. Oi, don't come with the tradies.
Well,
mate.
see, he didn't come.
He didn't come with the tradies, but like, there's a lot there. You know what I mean? Like, the tradies would have thought that he's directing it at them.
You don't get the tradies fired up.
You don't fuck with the tradies.
Tradies fuck with each other every day.
The plumbers, they got the best chat, and they'll destroy you. Yeah. And they got the best. What do you think they do all day? They just fuck around like footy players, but they fucking build houses.
If you want to get,
what I mean? They build houses, they build the world, and just fucking talk shit and go on benders. They love it. And they get paid. They're the best. They fuck with them, Luai.
And they
come at you.
And they write in the punters and dribblers page.
And they're mad.
LA Sports as well.
And they're the demographic that fucking love this shit.
Yeah.
They love footy. They're knockabout blokes, you know what I mean? Like, no one would have taken Romy's thing that serious. Like, all the comments are just like, fuck off, mate. We know how to do, like, it's just people taking a big deal out of this, man. They always do when he does something. We want in the games like, we want characters and all this. So he's a character, man. He back it up. He's won 2 premierships. He's got the World Cup final for Samoa. He can fucking back it up. He can hold his head up.
I think he's one of the most. I think he's the most polarizing player in the NRL player right now. We're about, people
don't like, the fact that people don't. He doesn't look like their hero sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like you don't look the part.
Islander boy from Western Sydney.
He's not Darren Lockyer. You know what I mean? He's not JT. He's not that. He don't look like that. He's Islander boy from Mount Druitt. He doesn't fit your narrative or what you think a player should be like.
He doesn't. He
don't give a fuck either. I love it.
He doesn't do the humble ones. He lets you know when he's on top of you.
Yeah, he does. He does good. Some things.
That's why we love American sports media, right?
And people don't understand. We love it as well, but these kids grew up with it, right? We're younger. We've always been into the NBA and into like Allen Iverson 2001. That's where all that shit from standing. When he stood over Tyronn Lue, when he stood over in 2001 like playoffs, people probably wouldn't even fucking know that.
Only AGs.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's where it all started. Like Allen Iverson did that to Ty Lue in the playoffs, and it's like that's what they do now. It's like a real sign of disrespect, but. Thing is, he needs to pick his moments a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like we need to be on top. Like he did it last night, and he rubbed people wrong because I think he stood over a player last night. It was really early, Ches, and I was like, wrong timing. You sort of need to be up by 16 with 3 minutes to go.
No,
and
I like it.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I like it.
But that's why probably people are coming at him really hard. But because we weren't in a position, and it wasn't in a dominant position where he's flogged Ches. Like just say if you bang someone and you can stand over him, man, if you want to.
Yeah,
but I'm like, it wasn't a moment where he dominated Cherry or anything like that. It was just like a really. I don't know. I like it, but I don't like it. There's moments in the game. It's like, dude, you got to earn the right to be disrespectful, right? Fucking pump the shit out of me, put me on my back, stand over me, it's fine. But you can't just be in a normal tackle and go, and do that. And like that rubs people, rub me the fucking wrong way anyway. If I was a player, if I was a Queensland player, I'd be like, fuck him, that's our captain. Let's go after him. That's that mentality of Queensland. I'm like, you don't need to rock that ship sometimes. Don't rock that boat.
Yeah.
And it's sort of fucking, Cherry fucking makes that massive effort. You know what I mean? Like just there's origin efforts there, man. I'm just saying, that's the way I look at it. I'm like, don't do that. It's wrong timing. I don't mind what he did, but I'm like, time and place.
All right, speaking of changes, was it even changes? But I'm just going to add it and we're just going to keep flowing.
Yeah.
I know it's nice and early, mate. The series is over. Couple of guys that were questioned going into game one. Is there any changes off the top of your dome right now that you'd like to even just float, build a narrative towards, a little tinker with, and what the future looks like for New South Wales? Because that was a bit of a clinic last night, and I think there should be a couple of changes.
I think Teddy. I think they're going to go after Teddy. The narrative that someone's going to come after him. But we're not starting it here, but I know it's already sort of semi-started.
Yeah,
by the time this comes out, it'll be starting.
It was drawn before game one.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to be going. Edwards needs to fucking go. Maybe Drinkwater needs to go.
He's my guy.
I think Drinky's like been playing out. I think he'd suit Origin easy. You got to think of that. If they're thinking next generation, who's going to be fullback? You can't really. Is Dylan Edwards going to be the future of New South Wales?
I don't
Because
think so.
if fucking Teddy's not playing, I'm putting Turbo there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you can put Critter at the right side centre. Like that's the fix there. If you know what I mean. If you go next year and Turbo has a full preseason, all that kind of stuff, gets his body right and comes back to the 2021 version, he's going to be fullback.
I don't think
if they're thinking about Teddy, right?
Yeah, well, we'll get into Teddy, right? I don't think New South Wales don't need a player that's going to have 20 to 25 carries for 250 metres like Dylan Edwards and Teddy. They need someone to create. They need Drinky.
Yeah. I'd
give Drinky a crack.
Drinky's got silky 7 and 6 skill set.
Yep.
With a fucking when he's that's why you can float in at 7, 6, and 1, right?
Yep.
He's got those really nice hands out the back.
Someone goes down.
He's tough. He's fit. He ticks all the boxes, right? I'd still personally stick with Teddy.
Yep.
Just for this, get him out. Just play the series out, captain the series, and then that's where coaching.
I would as well. To be fair,
yeah, coaching.
I would as well. Just to be clear,
because I think he's earned the right.
Yep.
You earn the right to go out on your own sword. And I think he has. The work that he's put in for New South Wales, that's the talk they should have. And then you got to deal with next year. Because Teddy could be fucking out of this world, but you don't want to pull the trigger on Teddy yet.
I don't think he's going to have because Freddie won't do it, and then Freddie won't be the coach next year. So I reckon Freddie will go. No. I think Freddie will go with Teddy, and this will be their last game.
You think that?
Yep.
All right. That's easily doable. You know what I mean? That could easily happen. That's not coming out of left field because you know what? When you lose a series, shit happens, man.
Yep. I think, we'll get to the halves a little bit too. There's genuine chat around Nico Hines. Matty Burton comes into play now.
How did Moses go?
I thought Moses was good, mate. Yeah.
Who was disappointing? Like you would have watched the game like a hawk.
I thought Moses was as good as he could probably be in that situation, and they still got beaten 30-6. So is that an indication of where Moses is at or where the team's at? I don't know. Because I thought he kicked well, he chased hard, he competed, he looked hungry, he defended well, but they still lost 30-6.
Yeah.
And we're never in it. So
we didn't look like it was really like I don't know. Going back to my actual things, I'm like, fuck, didn't feel like an Origin. And that's coming from all those Queenslanders that I just named before. They're like, fuck, that was just not awful, but like I think that was the word that got thrown around.
Yeah, well, it's always
just the intensity of it. I think the intensity was non-stop, and even the crowd was sort of like it felt like fucking Adelaide.
Lukey,
for some little moments.
Lukey was at Game 3 last year. How did that compare? Way better last year. Yeah.
Insane. So I was there too.
But that was a decider. That was a decider
as well. But the intensity.
Though.
This kind of was too, to a degree.
Yeah, true. It was.
No, it is. No, that's what I'm saying. Like I expected what I saw in Game 3 last year for that, and I'm like, it was fucking. And I was shattered last year when we got beat. I'm just as shattered now because we've lost the fucking series in 2 games.
All right, moving on to Queensland. Just some moments that I've got written down. Fuck. Val Holmes' first try, first and foremost. Do you think it was a try? I thought for sure. Maybe we will probably have punters here screaming at us because we couldn't see it as clearly on the big screen.
But I can't say anything.
It looked like Xavier Coates touched it anyway, so we probably didn't get a good look. You mentioned it before. Origin moments. I think there was a clear-cut one, and super proud of him again. You know how much, how close I am with Ches. What a captain's knock. Where he's come from. 3 out of the last four series as skipper when he was not even a part of the team 5 to 6 years ago.
Good effort.
Fuck, he just. I'm going to combine that and his effort and his game overall with Lindsay Collins for MOM, which I think is a great indication of the team, Queensland, because there's not really one guy. In either origins, I think Lindsay Collins was really good, was really solid. I thought Ruben Cotter was also really solid in game 1, but I reckon you could have picked 5 or 6 guys, and it was just a complete team effort in both games.
That does say a lot, doesn't it? When you can pick 5 or 6 guys, and we could have done that in game 1 as well. I'm not going to say Lindsay didn't deserve it, but because everyone was on a pretty even keel, sort of even playing field, everyone was sort of like.
He had a real big defensive effort on Jerome Luai, who dropped the ball. All the boys got around him on the line. And then he did a nice little trap and scrap, picked it up off his boots and ran.
But as I said, no one, I saw that, but no one really stood out that much. It was just really consistent players, right? There was about 6, 8 out of 10s.
Well, you know the scary bit?
Which is fucking hard, which is hard to get a man of the match. I'm just saying strictly on Channel 9, they're going, who are we going to give it to? Fucking hell.
Who's our favourite for Queensland? Money.
Munster, yeah.
Money had couple of 6 or 7 games. Didn't even really have to get, not as in. He wasn't a 7 out of 10. He didn't get out of second gear. I don't believe in either of these games. And they won convincingly 30-6.
That's scary, right? When Munster hasn't really shown up and played his best football in 2 games, and they've beaten us pretty easily both games.
Yeah.
So that's fucking scary. And you think we were talking about dynasty 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, when it's 19, 20, 21 dynasty.
Yeah.
And look at these fuckers now.
Yeah,
it's Wayne Bennett's fault. I think mentally going into next year's Origin, not even next game 3, even with a fully fit, if Turbo and Latrell are back fully fit, I think now Queensland are. What do you do if you got your Queensland hat on? You like Queensland. What would you do if you're New South Wales for next year, coaching and just a couple of players to move forward?
Coaching's hard. We ran into Semi Thido right at the airport, and he was trying to throw out a couple of awful candidates for New South Wales.
When Queensland speak, they don't look after New South Wales' best interest. When fucking Wayne Bennett's going, pick Adam Reynolds. Shut up! Don't listen to him. They want us to get smashed. Yeah, sorry.
And they also want to look after their guys. If anything, if you're going to play for New South Wales, it's going to be looking after their guys. Yeah. Coach is massive, mate, and I don't think there's anyone.
Who would you think?
I think if Bill was Billy Slater. I think Billy Slater is a better candidate than most NRL coaches if they were not even NRL coaching. I think the amount of respect that not only players are now have got in the game, but past players, he's got that perfect balance of being not far removed from the game, real attention to detail, and I think it's going to be a tough job for whoever takes it on. I'd like to see Joey do it properly. For people that don't know, Mace, you're obviously really close with Joey. For people that see Joey in camp and think that he's a part of, it's not like he doesn't have his DNA and proper imprint on it. Like Freddie controls everything with Brandy. Yeah. For those people that don't know,
he's not in camp. He just comes in on the game.
He floats in
when they come. Because it's one day in, one day on, one day off, and he comes in when they do the ball sessions. But he's just there. So they photograph him all the time, and it makes him look like he's a part of camp. But he doesn't stay there. No. He's not in camp like Mary, Bedsy, Freddie, Brandy.
He might do a couple of days a week.
He does camp. Yeah, it's minimum work in the camps. It's all about sharpening the tools, right? And he comes in there, does a little bit of work with Moses, but he doesn't game plan. He doesn't do anything like that. He's in there because he's Andrew Johns, and he can add a little bit of, especially with the Moses and all these young halves coming through. It's invaluable having Joey there. You'd be an idiot not to have him there because the presence that Andrew Johns has is ridiculous, and it'll be forever. He's that sort of dude.
Yeah.
It'll. If he decided to coach,
they would have to ask him, right? He wouldn't put his name forward.
Joey is the sort of guy. He's very humble, right? He knows how great he is. You just have one beer with him. and I've had 1,000, so I've heard it all. You think I talk shit? Oh my goodness! I mean, I bow down to the king, and I respect him so highly as well. Like I used to look at Joey when I used to come into camps, and like he just had this mad aura about him. And I was so young, I was in Australian teams at 21, and he was like the captain and shit like that. So I looked at him as like the fucking man, you know what I mean? The Gordon Tallises and all this shit. And now that I'm retired, and I'm like I'm father and all that kind of stuff, and you sort of look at each other like you've both grown ups, man. Instead of fanboying like these guys, like even Gordy last night. Gordy's a massive fan of the show. I love Gordy.
Shout out to Gordy.
We were talking last night. We sort of look at each other like equals. You know what I mean? Where when you're young, because and I still do, right? But you can sit at the same table with these guys now. But when you're young, you think you don't deserve that because as a young kid, when I was coming through, you just want to earn fucking everyone's respect. And you do it the hard way, and it was the hard way back then. Carry the guys' bags off the buses and all that sort of shit. If you're the youngest kid, you never fucking see that now. All those little things, you know what I mean? Earn your spot, earn your locker, everything like that, you know. And that's from even into rep football.
Yep.
You might come into rep football, think you're the man. You know, there's levels to shit in everything that you do, right?
That's what we keep telling people. Levels
Always.
Network, baby.
You know what I mean? So when you go in the Australian camp, it's like, fuck, you think you're killing it? Fuck, there's Andrew Johns.
Yeah.
There's Darren Lockyer, there's Gordon Tallis, there's Petra, there's Webby, all these sort of blokes, you know what I mean? So you got to earn your right, earn to be the man at that level, you know, and come back to club level and be the man. So Andrew Johns, going back to Joey as a coach, his mind is like, he's been leap years ahead of shit. Like he was at the Roosters when Piercy was coming through, like, I know him and Matty aren't really talking that much, but those two are fucking geniuses, man.
It's got to be
They are fucking evil geniuses. Like,
I know.
When it comes to the game, ask Cooper. When Cooper Cronk, people don't recognise, people always look at the end game, right? They look at Cooper Cronk's end game. They look at the premierships and Dally M's and all that sort of shit. When he first started, he was coming off the fucking bench from Melbourne playing hooker and wing. He debuted against us. They didn't know what position they had. Matty Orford there. Matty Orford goes back to the Eagles, and then Matty Johns comes down and
part of the
staff for Melbourne and teaches Cooper Cronk. Not saying everything, I'm not going to give him all that credit because Cooper Cronk's work ethic is fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean? He was methodical. He used to write everything down. That's what Billy Slater does, man.
Yeah.
Like Bill does that shit. Like you see him writing. They fucking won the series. He's still writing fucking. I don't know what he's doing. He's probably drawing dicks or something.
That was trending really nice, and then you just had to have a dig at Billy right at the end.
No.
Yeah, mate. One of my favourite shows and podcasts. No, it's only kidding. It's a giggle.
Joking,
it's a giggle. One of the my favourite podcasts and shows to listen to was Matty Johns and Cooper Cronk talking footy together. Yeah. I think you, for whatever they've got to mend it for New South Wales. Matty and Joey, I believe, would be the best candidates because you got Joey's aura, the things you talk about, his credibility, and not saying Matty doesn't, but I love Matty's footy brain and the way he thinks outside of the circle. He thinks about different ways you can implement a game or different situations, and I think those two would automatically have the credibility of the players.
Yep.
And then also the runs on the board and the IQ to get the job done.
So back to Joey, even when I used to go into camp, I'd always come back out of camp a way better player. Just asking him questions, you know what I mean? Like he'd tell me exactly what lines to run, like near the try line and tell Shifty to make those plays. Shifty was fucking amazing. You'd always learn something, and I'd always ask. I was always a student of the game as well. I'm like, how do you do this? What do you look at? What do you look like? What do you look at when you're running the ball? Compared to with the ball, you know what I mean? That's how he flips it in your head, right?
Yep.
Just what would you do defensively if I'm running at you like this, and how would you defend it, and how would you run it, and what you wouldn't like, and what you would like, right?
Yep. What do you want to see? What do you don't want to see?
Late footwork. It's where you align yourself on that opposite number. Break late. Break when he breaks. It's all these little like nuances of the game that will take your game to another level. Even like in a test, like my second touch of the ball, he said to me, "Go stay inside." So my first test, right? I'm 21. Second run of the ball under the post. Because he said, under the post, because he goes, they're lazy through the ruck. He goes, when you come on, he's told me during the week, they're lazy through the ruck. He goes, I'll get it B, and then I'll cut back at A. He goes, get on the inside, bang, straight on the post. Through the fullback in the fucking stadium try.
You know, one of my favourite tries of yours, whenever you talk about test footy, it cracks me up when we were cruising in to play Hull FC in the Challenge Cup in that year that you were playing, and the bus was dead quiet. And then you go to Louis, oh, fuck off, Louis. Isn't this when we played you in the fucking Tri-Nations over here? Yeah, we pumped you 40 nil or something. Yeah. And I scored I scored a try as well. And Louis was like, yeah, bro.
Oh, God.
All right. I think that's it, mate. Wrapping it up. Anything else on Queensland?
Oh,
I suppose.
man, I think
We'll break it down
I want to
properly.
really watch the game. I'm going to watch the game tomorrow. I'm going to sit there and just see what happens because I don't want to be. I'm not critical of any players. I just looked at the game like I just thought it wasn't that fucking good.
Yep.
Like and it just tops it off for Queensland winning. And it probably amplifies it by about 1,000. So now we're in enemy territory again. We've been here. I love it. I love it how Queensland has a rule like the subtleties. Like everyone says hello to you. You know, like, hey, Big Willie. Hey, Big Willie. You watch the game last night? Of course I fucking watched the game. What do you think I'm doing? You know what I mean? Like, all through the airport this morning, like, hey, Willie, hey, Big fella, how you going? I'm like, oh, God. They just want that, you know, we got you, boys.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
they
the
want
smugness.
You to know.
It's the smugness on Queenslanders. Anyone who played against Cameron Smith and all those legends know the smug look. Yeah. It's Cam Smith started it.
It was like Sam Thaiday when he goes, who should coach? He goes,
yeah, Sammy don't give a fuck.
He goes, Tuvey?
Yeah,
and then I went.
Did you see the smugness, bud, on Sammy Thaiday? He's like, Tuvey? Mick Ennis? He's saying all this shit. I was like, fuck up, Sammy. And he just like, because I love Sammy. We went to Kangaroo Tours. We used to go hard against each other. He's a good friend, good man, great fucking Queenslander, great player, great fucking player. But like, people who listen to any Queenslanders talk about Origin coaches and
New South Wales and what they should do.
Do not fucking listen.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They do not care. They want Tuvey or they want someone that's not a really good coach. I'm not saying Tuvey's an awful coach. He's a great guy. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, they're going, Mick Ennis,
Origin.
you know what I mean? They don't give a fuck as long as they're winning, man. And I'm like, well, we just need to get back there. All right?
All right. You want to get into the games?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's break them down nice and quick. This will be a bit of a speed round this week,
right.
mate. This is the NRL Round 17 preview. Odds are accurate as of the 22nd of June at 11 a.m. from our friends at the Tab. So, kicking it off with the first game, the Dragons versus the Warriors. The odds are the Dragons are $2.75 underdogs at home to the Warriors, and deservedly so. The Warriors have been really good this year, Mace. $1.45. The line is 6.5, and I've got some late mail for you, Mace. Jaden Sullivan remains the preferred 5'8" and is set to play alongside Ben Hunt, who was named despite the game kicking off just 48 hours.
I don't know. How do you go back to training after all this shit?
Interesting.
Do you know
Very
what I mean?
interesting.
I think I don't know Benny as a man, or I don't know how he's highly regarded down there, and as a person, like he must be to go.
Here we go.
To get these.
I've got an article here on you, mate.
You know what I'm saying?
Should I read it out?
Go. I'm just
reading this from Fox Sports News. Dragons captain Ben Hunt has confirmed he will play this weekend, but revealed he wants to return to Queensland. Hunt dropped a bombshell. St George, the 30-year-old since opened up. So, yeah, so basically said he's good to go.
30-year-old?
33.
Yeah.
33, yeah. I just get a little quicken it up. Pardon? No, they're playing at home, Dragons. So anyway, so he's going to play. Jack DeBellin will be back from the head knock, and Jack Bird, who was rested for 2 weeks.
Aussie, sorry, like going off topic, like just say if you're not off topic, if you're Ben Hunt, how are you feeling right now? Like going back to St George after winning at such a high, being in camp, you've just won, and how do you, after all the shit that's been said, you want to release, how do you go back and front your players as captain and the face of that team and club?
Because I think he's got enough runs on the board, and because he will still be their best player.
Yeah.
And enough people, I reckon, within that team and locker room would have been looking and going, he's going to put in. We'll be wishing him all the best if he leaves. They would have seen what the shit that's gone on at the Dragons for the last couple of years and just going, just go, bro. Just like, we'll be happy for him to leave. You just got to get the right conversation if you're the Dragons.
Come the Warriors. What?
The Warriors are unaffected by Origin. Well, actually, I got someone. We didn't do any comments, but someone blew up that I was pushing. What's the young half? I'm having a blank. Carl Oloapu and Preston. I didn't mean necessarily I would trade those two players. But if I'm
just was a Bulldogs fan.
Yeah, they go, if you trade those two players for a 33-year-old halfback, I'm going to unfollow the club. And my thing is, it's not necessarily about the players that you get, in which I want to get good young players if I'm the Dragons. That was my point.
Just look at it like a business.
Yeah,
mate.
you got to play the money ball system of it. All right, the Warriors are unaffected by Origin with no late changes expected. Dylan Walker comes onto the bench as a straight replacement for Mitchie Barnett, who was suspended, while Luke Metcalf remains at 5'8", in place of Tomato Martin, who must still. Who do you like on that one, Mace?
I like the Warriors. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like I sort of trust the Warriors now.
Yeah.
I trust what they're doing. I trust
Win Stadium too, by the way.
They're going to be. Is it Win? Is it
Win Stadium?
Ooh. They're fucking good down there.
They are good down there, eh?
But I think the last game they played down there might have been against us.
The Warriors won't be affected by the wind. They'll love it. Go on the Wires.
Yeah, I'm going to go No, I'm not calling Wars. You nearly got me there. Fuck. I'm going the Warriors.
Okay, the Warriors.
Bro, that's the thing now, man.
Yeah, I know.
I'm blaming Jacko, bro.
Yeah.
Seriously, he goes, yeah, what do you think about the Wars, mate? I'm like, the fuck, what are you talking about? That's that generation. He's your media manager, guys.
He's doing a great job.
Great
job.
podcast. We love you, Jacko.
Big guest coming up. Team list. Yeah, fuck.
It's hard.
I always sort of want to go the Dragons for some reason every week. This is probably their best lineup in a while. Frankie Molo, Blake Mudders, Laurie back.
Go the St. George. I reckon St. George a big chance. I'm just thinking.
I'll go 6.5. I'll go Dragons 6.5.
I just trust what the Warriors are doing. I think they really having to dig for each other. It's a different team.
The first game is Saturday, 3 p.m. Dolphins at home to the Parramatta Eels. $2.65 with our friends for the tab. For the Dolphins at home, $1.48. Favourites, Parramatta Eels. And again, the line is plus 6.5, Mace, for this game. So I'll just get you the late
Parra, man.
I'll just get you. Yeah, nice and easy, mate.
I don't mind. I like how Parra's playing.
Oh, your boy's back.
Paulo
SOS.
Back.
SOS is
he's back. The SOS.
SOS is included in the reserves
so
for the first time.
Definitely going for Parramatta.
He would likely replace Cody Nicarima in the halves. Jeremy Marshall-King was back after the bye, and he missed half of the game against Manly, alongside new recruit Josh Kerr, who was immediately up there from the Dragons.
Oh, did he? It's gone already?
Yep, got immediate release.
I think Wayne Bennett will get the best out of that guy. He was on the verge of playing Origin about 3 years ago. He was in their camp.
I'm excited for that.
And I spoke to Curry after our game.
Yep.
He came up to me and called me Unc.
Anky.
That's how old I am.
That's mad respect.
Yeah,
you love kids like kids, not kids, but you love players like that.
And he was what's happening, Luke?
Lukey?
Keep talking. I'll just verify.
Breaking news. All right, Sean Lane is back for he's racing the clock to be named for Parramatta. Mitchell Moses and Junior Barlow expected to back up from the Origin performances on Wednesday.
They'll make a good run back. I reckon the back end of the year, Parramatta seem to time it really well.
Yeah, and Ryan Madison is capable of sliding back into the halves if required. He was pretty good, wasn't he, Mace?
Yeah, Parramatta.
Parramatta?
Yep.
Holbrook's just left the Titans and Hasler has been named for the Titans.
Oh, shit.
Now?
Breaking news.
Jesus.
Holy shit. Hasler named Titans coach after shock Holbrook exit. Fuck, Fozzie just gets his man back again, dude. My mate Fozzie's going to get his big fucking
Fozzie
sword.
just white-handed fucking... I'm joking, man.
Des Hasler will resume his NRL coaching career on the Gold Coast next season. The Titans on Thursday announced they had parted ways with Justin Holbrook effective immediately, with the two-time premiership winning former Seagulls coach to take over from 2024. I'm looking forward to joining the Titans in the 2024 season, Hasler said. The club has a strong playing roster. They do. The region is blessed with emerging talent. Desi's a great signing, mate. I liked Holbrook, but this is a great signing. Great signing. Well done. Good work, Lukey. Immediate thoughts on that, Mace?
Yeah, Des deserves to be back in the game.
100%. He's got himself a roster.
Footy brain is too smart for him to be sitting on the sidelines, and I think something like that, where the Titans are missing something, right? And I like the way he coaches. He's very methodical and stuff. He's very analytical. Maybe those guys need it. You got such a good roster for Fafita, Fotuaika, Fasul Malawi. That's just three guys in your pack. They're all Origin and international players. So you got to do something there.
Well, Titans were one of those names thrown around with Ben Hunt. What does this do with Ben Hunt's decision?
I don't know if he has a relationship with Des or not. Does he want to get fucking mind fucked for these last 2 or 3 years? Because you know how tactical and everything he is.
Yep.
So
well, I know
Ches. He look better in blue and white, I reckon.
Yeah, 100%. You've got the Bulldogs cap on. Yeah. I'm just saying, I know obviously Ches and Hunty are really good mates, and Ches loved Des, and then you get up and you pair up Fozzie and Benny Hunt would be a nice 7 and 6.
Great. Be awesome for the Titans.
With that forward pack, I know, not for you guys.
I'm all in.
All right, let's go. The next game is Panthers versus Newcastle. Panthers are obviously $1.27 favourites against the Newcastle Knights, who are $3.80. The line is 10.5, Mace. Get into the news on this one. All Origin players have been named to back up and will be assessed. Jerome Luai is free to play after he was only fined for his scuffle with Reece Walsh. Moses Leota is back from the birth of his child. Congratulations, brother. Pushing Matt Eisenhuth out of the squad for now. Eisenhuth could be back in if Isaiah is to be rested. On the Knights, quickly, Greg Marzu is back in the team after being disciplined for missing the bus. Saifidi returns after a sternum injury. Both will be big boosts. They were sorely missed last week. Tyson Frizzell was set to back up from Origin 2 with Dylan Lucas remaining in the squad.
Yeah, I think Penrith will be too strong. I think players coming back from Origin with the Panthers will be pissed off. They're going to be hard to beat. Like the back end of this run, and when Cleary comes back, hopefully fully fit, and they'll start their run now. You know, like sort of not right now, but like just after Origin, seemingly they get everyone back and fully fit. They can get Cleary back and make a decent run because when they're on, they look fucking dangerous. Their defense is amazing.
I'm going to disrespect the Panthers again. Panthers head-to-head, but I'll take the 10.5 start. I like the 10-point start.
Where's it at? Is it Newey?
No, it's at Penrith. They're probably going to smack them
definitely
because fucking...
I just think just the mentality of a player coming back to club football from losing Origin is different.
Yeah, I think this one's
all
more.
Those guys,
I think this one's more deflating than coming back with edge.
Yeah. But I think that's a winning culture out there.
Yeah, that's true, mate.
They built that.
All right, the Battle of Brookie in Melbourne. That's awful. Melbourne versus Manly, $1.22. Manly obviously $4.30 off the back of the Turbo news. The line is 12.5. I think that's too short straight away. I think Melbourne down at home with all the returning.
I don't think Manly will make the 8 now.
Yeah, same.
I think it's really
Going
gone.
with Justin Olam is back in for boost for the Storm. Maroons representatives Cam Munster, Xavier Coates, and Harry Grant have all been named to back up this stage. Big Nasty has been named on an edge, but could change positions on game day. I don't think he will. I think he'll look really good on the right edge. Daly Cherry Evans has been named. He'll play. He always backs up Ches. Tom Travojevic obviously won't feature after staining a torn pectoral. That's confirmed. There we go, which could see Gaz. There we go. Now I like the idea of Garrick back to fullback.
Yeah,
now it's going to be long-term, mate.
Yeah.
So
they're going to struggle now.
KO Weeks is named at fullback, but I reckon Gaz will play fullback, and they'll probably try to bring in either Morgan Harper or I wonder how far away. No, they don't have him on the bench. They end up putting Samuel up finally. He must have. Yeah, Morgan Harper's in the extended bench. I could see him coming in.
Melbourne will pump
Melbourne easy, mate.
Pump them, yeah.
Yeah, I think that as well. Were they? No, they're not. No, they're sweet. Fuck. I thought I made my bet earlier in the week for LPC, but I just checked and they weren't. Brisbane versus the Gold Coast at home. This should be a good one, mate. I think this will be good. Obviously, big news now. Holbrook's out. We just broke that live. $1.32 favourites, Brisbane Broncos at Suncorp against the Gold Coast Titans, $3.40 underdogs. The line is 10.5. The news around those two teams is Selwyn Cobo is set to play despite a lingering hip pointer that kept him out of Origin. Dean Mariner, the likely replacement. If he doesn't play, Payne Haas, Paddy Carrigan, Tom Flegler, and Reece Walsh, they'll all back up, I reckon. They backed up after Origin 1.
Fafita, Fodawaker, they'll all back up, you reckon? Fa'asua Malawi,
Yep.
Big Tino, they should be fine. It'll be a good game, man.
While your
Broncos.
boy BSC Smoothie, he remains the preferred backup hooker ahead of Corey Pates. If Walsh is set to, he is set to play after the scuffle. Our boy, look at him, he's back. My boy Fozzie, with the news of Desi taking over next year, he's back. His fitness is back. He always gets up for Desi. The expected return of David Fafita after he missed round 15 with concussion. He looked to have pulled up sweet last night. He was all good. Means Cleese Haas drops back to the bench with Cruz Lumin and Isaac Fa'asua Malaawi, the players to drop out of the 17. Fafita, Tino, Big Mo, they should all back up. And I reckon AJ Alejandro Primson will be in for a big game as well after being in and around Origin.
I think Brisbane should win, right? They should.
They should.
They should win. I think
They should.
I think they've just got too much class. They just it took them a while to get to where they are now, and they seem to just steamroll teams, man. Now they've got fully fit team. Is fucking scary for the Bronx, man.
I have a feeling Gold Coast, just typical Gold Coast, they'll get up for this game, be plenty of energy. Maybe Gold Coast halftime, Brisbane full time.
Oh really? Yeah, something like that. That seems to be the
Brisbane run them down.
Yeah, the same thing with the Gold Coast all this year, isn't it?
Yep. All right, moving on. South versus North Queensland on Sunday at 4 o'clock. The South Sydney Rabbitohs are $1.42 favourites. North Queensland are $2.90 underdogs. The line is 7.5. The news out of that one, we'll see what's happening with Trell Mitt and Cody. Cody Walker is a big inclusion for South Sydney after missing last week's with the quad strain. Tommy Burgess is also likely to return.
Oof.
While David Mawale will play his first game since round 9. So 3 big ins after making his injury in reserve grade last week. So he's in. Cookie will play. He looked sweet last night. Cam Murray will probably be 50-50 based off all the news around him last week. Todd Payton confirmed all 5 of his club's Origin representatives were expected to back up.
Where's this at? Is in Sydney?
Yeah, it's in Sydney. Jason Tomalola is back in the run-on side after his return from injury last week, and he is good to go. This will be a good game.
I like the Cowboys.
So
Not just
do
because
I.
I'm in Townsville. I just think they're going to make a little late charge.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to take them head to head, and
it's a good time to get get South, you know.
with the plus 7.5. All right.
Because South tend to go on these big runs, right? Like 5 or 6 games. It's sort of like win-loss at the moment. So I think they might get a loss again.
Yep, I'm with you. I think they'll just get him as well, especially with no Trell Mitts still back for South Sydney. And I wouldn't be surprised I'd be very surprised if Cam Murray plays in this one. All right, last game, Sydney Roosters versus the Canberra Raiders. Sydney Roosters are $1.62 favourite. I think that's too short. I think it should be more of a coin flip. $2.30 about the Canberra Raiders, and the line is 3.5. So very hard game to pick. Even the traders at the tab can't figure it out. Luke Keary remains in doubt after he cleared a fractured jaw but still has a facial injury. Joey Manu shifts back to centres to accommodate the return of the Sir Teddy, who was expected back up after Origin, with Lindsay Collins, despite sustaining a belly core thigh last week. Satili Tupouniua is named to play and will manage throughout the week. Back rower Hudson Young is likely to be the only question mark in an unchanged side for the Raiders, with the forward to be assessed after Origin 2. So I think this will be a close game as well. I think it'll be more of a coin flip this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Raiders. I wasn't that impressed with the Roosters last week. Only just beat the Knights. It was a pretty low game, wasn't it? I wonder if
Kez doesn't play, then Joe Money goes back to 6 again too. Anyone in the extended
probably good for
bench?
Canberra. That's good for Canberra if he does. If what's his name doesn't play.
Yeah.
Keary doesn't play. You put him at 6, and he's got a ball play a lot more. He's not really attacking. When he was last week, he was in attack mode. He looks dangerous as hell, man. Run. He just gets him wherever he wants. He can fit in anywhere. So it's probably a good thing if Keary gets ruled out. I 100% will go with Canberra.
All right, my levels club punters. No chasing the Grateful Eight this week. We just haven't had time. I haven't had time to look at it with all the Origin stuff. So let's get into our levels. Punters Club, Bets Friends channel special. Lukey, where's all the green light? Cowboys plus 7.5 and AJ Brimson to score in the first 60 minutes equals $7.50 from the traders. Max bet of $25. And let me get to the read at the end, and that is, as always, we want everyone to be playing safe during the footy season, so please keep front of mind what are you really gambling with. And if you need free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. You can find all current LPC bets under the Bets Friends banner on the Tab app, and I'll be downloading all my anytime try scorers over the weekend, so look out for it. Mate, see you back on Monday. Good show.
Right.
Let's go.
Thank you.